Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
What is going on, folks? Welcome into the PXG Custom Studios. You have never played like this before. Log on to pxg.com. Make sure you can check out when you're there the PXG Tour Series Brandon putter, 100% milled putter beauty, right? Delivers blade-style elegance with modern performance. Now, modern performance is definitely something that will be called upon this week. This is the week of the 45th Ryder Cup. There's the two respective teams: Scheffler, Spawn, Schauffele, Henley, English, DeChambeau, Thomas, Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Cam Young, Patrick Cantlay, Sam Burns. On the Euro side, led by McIlroy, McIntyre, Fleetwood, Rose, Højgaard, Hatton, Lowry, Rahm, Straka, Hovland, Oberg, and Fitzpatrick. Interesting on the Euro side that genetically they're 100% accurate to what they were in Rome 2 years ago. It's just that they switched out one identical twin for another. In Nikolai last time, Rasmus this time for the European side. We are well into all things surrounding this 2025 Ryder Cup. As I mentioned, this is the 45th Ryder Cup. In just a moment, I'm going to get into more details of how it all began, when and where. Bethpage Black course is the canvas that it's all been unfolding on so far throughout this week. Farmingdale, New York, and Long Island. The United States captain, of course, Keegan Bradley, the Euro side captain for the second consecutive time by Luke Donald. All right, let's take a look at, as I mentioned to you, where we went, the chronology of the Ryder Cup. In 1927, it was the first Ryder Cup. That was the first official Ryder Cup. It took place at the Worcester Country Club in Worcester, Massachusetts, a Donald Ross course. In fact, Donald Ross was there watching the opening tee shot, which happened and been struck by none other than Walter Hagen. I can tell you that everyone looks, it's called the Ryder Cup, right? Samuel Ryder, he was a seed merchant who was very successful in the UK. His name on the cup, the most important person in the history of the Ryder Cup, is Walter Hagen. If the American Walter Hagen didn't have the vision for the Ryder Cup, and he funded much of it in the early days himself, multiple-time captain, player, etc., it wouldn't exist. So right up until the Second World War, it was kind of nip and tuck between the two sides. USA winning here, Europe winning there. The Second World War changed the course of the Ryder Cup. I'm going to get to course changes in the Ryder Cup in a moment, because in 1957, Europe won. That was the first time that they had won since before the war. In 1969, because of Jack Nicklaus and his vision in sportsmanship, he conceded the putt. That's why it's called the concession to Tony Jacklin, that ended up resulting in a draw. After that, the Ryder Cup was actually at risk of no longer existing because the U.S. side just continued to pummel GB&I, which was Great Britain and Europe. So Jack Nicklaus, the aforementioned, was one of the leading voices that said, you know what, guys, we need to bring in continental Europe. The first time they were brought in was 1979. 1979 happened also to be the young world superstar, Seve Ballesteros' first Ryder Cup. Well, the now continental team, inclusive of Seve, they both got their butt kicked. So they still needed to do something. They approached Tony Jacklin, who by this time was on the outside looking in at the Ryder Cup, said he was done with the Ryder Cup. Frankly, so was Seve. Seve was banned from the Ryder Cup. Think about that. Do your research on it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So Tony Jacklin gets asked to become the captain. He says, I'm not doing it. I don't know if you caught our last show. I'm not doing it unless I get everything that I need to build this team, which means a team room comparable to the Americans. We're going to fly over in the Concorde instead of secondhand clothing, shoes, bags, etc. First class with all of it. Well, first class is exactly what he got with all of it. So 1983 was Tony Jacquelin's first year as captain. They barely lost the United States because of the heroics of Lenny Watkins, who probably was one of the greatest United States Ryder Cup players of all time. I don't think that argument you can even make. I say probably, but you can tell my bias is that he is. And so with Lanny hitting a sand wedge into 18 that ended up securing the United States victory in 1983, Jack Nicklaus came out and kissed the divot. U.S. wins. Celebration ensues. Back in the European locker room, there is sorrow. They're morose. Seve busts into the locker room and goes, "What are you guys doing? We feel bad. We lost." Seve says, "This is not a time to feel bad. We now know that we can beat the United States." In 1985, the very next Ryder Cup at the Belfry, you know what happened? Europe beat the United States. In 1987, the very next Ryder Cup at Muirfield Village, captained by Jack Nicklaus, Europe wins on U.S. soil for the first time. Tony Jacquelin, because of his vision, rebuilt the modern Ryder Cup. And he rebuilt it in a way that instead of the European side coming in and feeling like they were already one down, they felt like they were at least equals, and they believed for the first time in earnest that they were capable of beating the mighty United States at the Ryder Cup, and it redefined the modern Ryder Cup. That's the era that we're still living in right now. If you look at the performance of Ryder Cup competitions, let's go back to last 25 years. Because it underscores exactly what I'm saying to you. And you look at it and go, you're telling me that Europe has gone 8-3 since 2002? It's right there in front of you. You can see it. 8-3. So the question is always being asked, why? I happen to think that Europe is smart and that they're somewhat cagey in the answers that they give. I don't think they ever really answer the true answer as to how they beat the United States, right? And so, as we do, and we're going to have a lot to go over with you in today's show, we want you to hear from the captains, respectively, of each side, Keegan Bradley and Luke Donald. I want you to hear from players. You know we love doing this when we're right in the midst of an event. All of it that's swirling around, everything that is taking place. And one of the reasons why I love doing this is it gives us the perspective of understanding what were the thoughts of the players coming into the week. The sense of confidence that you gained, the body language that you saw, how steadfast were they in their convictions, again, by your interpretation, and that's why we're doing it, so that you can consume this. So we're going to hear from the captains coming up in just a moment here. We are going to hear from players in today's show. And before we wrap up, I want to talk about Bethpage Black, because And it's not with any real set formula of particular holes, but we grabbed a handful of holes that we thought you guys would enjoy learning more from so that you understand the character of this unique venue for the Ryder Cup. Because I've long said I believe that Bethpage Black is an absolute national treasure. Dom, you're in my headset saying you had a question or a comment or some observation to make relative to all of the above. What do you got for me?
So the question, I just have a simple question for you after listening to you go sort of through the chronology of the Ryder Cup, which is fascinating, and I know you know the history of it better than anyone I've ever met. The simple question I have is, how has the Ryder Cup become so huge over the last whatever, 40 years. What is there one thing that you can point to say this is why it's now this massive, huge global media event that everybody, one of the most watched events in all of golf? Where did that come from? Is that just the competitiveness of Europe coming along into tournament, like you mentioned?
Yeah, the quick and easy.
And now it's like it's sort of a clash.
Yeah,
or
the
no?
quick and easy answer is that, because I'm going to bounce this question back to you in a second, but the quick and easy answer to this is that it became a competition. So let me ask you a question. Let me throw a sport at you, and you tell me who probably historically is the biggest rivalry of all time, team versus team. The NBA.
The Lakers are probably the biggest team.
I was going to say Lakers, Celtics, right?
Lakers,
yeah, that's
Celtics,
what I was going to. I figured
probably.
that's where you're going to go. Lakers, Celtics.
It depends, but
it was much watched TV. It was huge when it took place. Two teams in the NFL that when they go head-to-head, historically, I'm not talking necessarily just now. It can be now, but I'm talking through the span of the league, that when those two teams, I'm guessing it's going to be Dallas, you're going to say whatever, but when those two teams...
Well, it's probably Cowboys, Redskins, or now Commanders. You could be Packers, Bears, teams that have been around.
Packers, Bears
for,
would be another good one,
years.
too, yeah. So this is what I'm getting at. When that took place, and in the NHL, there were different eras when you could say that. It could be like a Rangers-Bruins game. It could be, Edmonton. Again, I think back to when they crushed the Bruins. What was that, 88? In that Stanley Cup?
Yeah, but we just showed that graphic. Andrew, you can put it back up. Since 2002, the Europeans are just dominating. Well, how is that competitive?
Well, I think it's because people are smart enough in golf that they know the history, and they know that the United States absolutely used to just dust them. Crushed them over and over and over again. And then after Tony Jacklin came in as captain and changed everything on the European side, it changed everything in terms of confidence. It changed everything in terms of belief. And then the game continued to change and churn along the same way. And the top European players started to play predominantly on the PGA Tour. And all of a sudden it all changes. And then you start to get into psychology. Psychology including, well, on the U.S. side, Tiger Woods, for example, has a terrible Ryder Cup record. And he was the number one player for so long. So is it the old cliche of 28 players and 28 separate taxis on the U.S. side, but somehow they congeal on the European side? Is it just because they come in with that coveted gripping of being the underdog? You notice how it happens every year? And it's really hard for the U.S. side to fight it because every year the U.S. side is higher ranked. Right? And even in key stats we've gone over in this show and preview build up to the Ryder Cup, the United States is slightly ahead. It's so close. It's decimal points. But still, the U.S. is ahead in every key statistical category. Right? So whatever they can do to earn that moniker and grasp hold of it, of we're the underdogs, and then they channel it. It's incredible. So anyway, we got a lot coming up for you on the show today that we're going to get to in just a second. But first, did you know, presented by FlightScope, check out the new i4 rangefinder. Did you know that this rangefinder takes into account everything? Look at that. Your magnets put it right on the side of your cart. But whether it's wind, whether it's humidity, whether it is elevation changes and more, this caddy in your pocket can give you the details so that you can play with the confidence of knowing that you've chosen the right club. And even if you're not sure about that, the i4 rangefinder will even help you choose it, because right above the flag, see, it tells you based upon your gapping what club that you should use. Okay, the European team has absolutely destroyed the United States 8-3 since 2002. The most recent victory at Marco Simone in Rome, outside of Rome in Italy, and it was convincing. Now, you only have to go back to 2021 and go, whoa. What about Whistling Straits with the United States won by a record margin that holds? Will that happen this week when it's all said and done, because it's a home game? Work to do, no doubt about that. More coming up in the Fairways of Life show. Stay with us.
It takes focus, calculated aggression, and a precise mindset for shots like these. When the pressure builds, only the sharpest ball strikers survive. And Kurt Kitayama activated Weekend Warrior mode with a course record Saturday and a flurry of birdies Sunday. Congratulations, Kurt, winner of the 3M Open with the Tour BX mindset. Bridgestone Golf, the #1 ball fitter in golf.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me?
We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing.
We have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
Our journey began with a simple yet powerful vision to provide the world with the highest quality Virginia-type peanuts. The Hubbard Peanut Company, where quality and tradition meet to create an unforgettable experience. Visit hubspeanuts.com to explore our full range of products and place your order today.
Middle market businesses are facing unprecedented shifts, which demand tailored solutions and decisive action. RSM stands as the unwavering leader of the middle market, empowering you to take charge of change and conquer this era of transformation. RSM. Experience the power of being understood.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. It is the week of the 45th Ryder Cup. Yeah, and it's taking place, all of the festivities at Bethpage Black. So excited for the conclusion of this Ryder Cup. 2025 Ryder Cup team comparison. I mentioned this in the last segment. Number of 2025 wins. The United States has 14. Including 3 majors. Team Europe has 10, including 1 major. There are 4 rookies on the U.S. side. These are Ryder Cup rookies, obviously, and I've heard the conversation a million times this week. Are they really rookies? You've got a major champion, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. Okay. Judge it as you wish. 1 rookie on the European side. They've just not played in the Ryder Cup before. That's the definition of rookie in this context. Combined Ryder Cup record, 26, 22, and 8. Combined Ryder Cup record in the European side, 59, 50, and 19. That would be the one line there to start where you do a comparison. You say, does experience count? Then you start to get into the details, the nuance. 60% point percentage, 61%. 46% win rate, 46% win rate. Are you kidding me? Average true strokes gained putting plus 0.4. On the Europe side, plus 0.3, rounding up. Data Golf is where we've pulled all of this information. Average true strokes gained around the greens, plus 0.16, plus 0.16. Are you kidding me? Approach to the green. U.S., slight advantage, plus 0.64. On the European side, it is 0.57. It's incredible. This is what I was talking to you guys about earlier. There was so much talk coming in this week, too, about the fact that the U.S. team is getting paid, right? And I've heard a lot of voices that are trying to poo-poo it and say, oh, please, come on, this is modern golf, et cetera, et cetera. They're still giving most of the money to charity, if not all of it. We don't really know of their $500,000. And we have a sense that, although a lot of it is kind of hidden in shadows, that this was derivative of what took place at Marco Simone in Rome. Remember Patrick Cantlay not wearing the hat, et cetera, some type of a protest. We heard from Xander Schauffele's father, who went into some detail about the inequity of the amount of money that the event makes, et cetera, and that players are not getting the same. So there was all kinds of debate coming into this week from people questioning, is this in the spirit of the Ryder Cup that money is involved in the players at all? Now, the funding from the Ryder Cup, because the Ryder Cup does generate a tremendous amount of money, so that we give some balance contextually to this discussion. And players are looking at it, presumably those who would have an issue with it, saying we can see the massive sums of money that are being generated, because a Ryder Cup, just so you know, I was up in New York earlier this week, is at least 5 times larger than the largest major. It's that much bigger. And, players are looking at that and going, wow, that's a lot of money flowing out there. Well, on the European side, the European Ryder Cup side is administered by the DP World Tour. And pretty much anyone will tell you that will discuss it honestly, that the money generated by the Ryder Cup is what keeps the DP World Tour healthy and afloat. On the U.S. side, it is not administered by the PGA Tour. It's administered by the PGA of America. That is the organization of some 31,000 PGA professionals from coast to coast, so the money goes back into their coffers to fund all of the activities that they are engaged in. But the question seemingly comes down to, do you see this event and your participation of it as representing your colors, your flag, respectively? Or is it, in the modern world of golf, about what's in it for me? The captains earlier this week were asked just about that, and as the question was being asked, and you will see from Keegan Bradley, there was a sense of, once again, being asked in a bit of annoyance.
Well, the PGA of America came to me. They wanted to bring the Ryder Cup into the present day. The charity dollars hadn't changed since 1999, and they asked me to sort of shepherd their way into making it into 2025. I think for everyone it's a personal decision. A lot of guys aren't comfortable sharing what they're going to do with their money, but we're going to donate. And for us, the PGA of America, this happens after the Ryder Cup, so this is something that we'll worry about after. But ultimately, the PGA of America asked me to help out with this, and this is the best way we came up to do it.
Just to clarify, why are you giving your money, all of your money? Why are you giving your stipend as well as the charity donation?
I think that's a personal decision. I don't donate to charities to publicize what we're doing. These guys on our team are incredible people, and they do a lot of incredible things with charity dollars and with their foundations, and a lot of them aren't comfortable sharing that sort of information, and I feel the same way.
Following on from Neil's question there about the payment for your team, what do you say to those who take that as evidence that it means more to Europe?
Well, I'm not concerned about what Europe does or what they think. I'm concerned about what my team's doing, and I was tasked with the job the PGA of America asked me to do, and this was what we decided, and we wanted to bring the Ryder Cup into today's age, and we felt like this was the best way to do it. We copied a lot about what the President's Cup does, and we did the best we could, and I think a lot of good is going to come from this. I think the players are going to do a lot of good with this money, and I think it's great.
I mean, obviously, you rightly recognise that the players are able to do a lot of good with it, but I think the optics of it are questionable, given the finances already involved in golf. Do you have any regret about that aspect at all?
I don't really get that, but I think, you know, the goal here was the charity dollars hadn't been raised in 25, 26 years, and that's what we started out doing. And we did a lot of what the President's Cup did, and these players are going to do the right thing and do a lot of really good with this money. I mean, you can say that, but I think that the players are really good people and are going to do a lot of good things.
This came up, and I wanted to get ahead of it, and you know, talk to the 12 guys in Rome. You know, when it looked like the US were going to do something different with payments, and you know, every one of them was just like, no, we don't want to pay. This isn't a week to get paid. You know, we have such a strong purpose in this team, what we play for. And, you know, to be honest, we reinvest some of that money back into the experience of these guys, you know, and I feel like if you have those experiences that you remember for the rest of your life, that's worth more than a couple $100,000 in the back of your pocket. So, you know, for me, I was very proud of the guys. You know, I think the ideals of, you know, how this Ryder Cup was set up back in the 20s by Samuel Ryder, I think he would have been proud too.
Okay, so there you heard the two captains respectively reacting to the question of getting paid. A couple interesting observations with Keegan. He mentioned the way that he structured it was to say that this is bringing the charitable dollars. He's defining as charitable dollars, but the player determines how much they're getting $500,000, 300,000 of which has to be directed towards charity minimum. The rest is at their discretion. So he's talking about bringing it into the modern age. And then the other side is he's talking about players using it for charity and doing a lot of good, which is 100% accurate. Clearly, that much money going to charity is going to benefit respective charities. And all these players have foundations and things that are very, they're very interested in on a personal basis. But I think it would be, again, from a context standpoint, it's important for people to know that of the money that, whether it was going through a player or not, massive sums of money from this event are still going to be benefiting those types of causes by the respective sides. It's just in this case, they're giving the players more control in terms of where that money goes. So I know that may play into your judgment accordingly, and then it becomes more acute because on the European side took a high road and said, nope, this isn't about money. That's not why we're here. And so it provided one more point of distinction. You sort out on which side. And I know there's a lot coming in our Fairways of Life YouTube page with opinions accordingly. So, as to the two captains, I want to start with Keegan in this one again. And it's not because of contrast. They were asked different things here. And this was more about Keegan being asked, do you perceive, and at this point, it has pertinence, you know, playing a player all 5 sessions and the impact that a captain can have, what difference they might make in winning or losing.
I think you got to take a temperature of how the week is going. We certainly have guys that can go 5 in our team that we're comfortable with. That doesn't mean they will. I think we want to see how the flow is going, see how the energy is. You know, these players are super unselfish guys, so they're going to be perfectly honest with us captains and the team. They only care about us winning the Ryder Cup. So, you know, we have conversations with players about how they're feeling and go from there. I think the captain can make a difference. It does come down to the players, but, you know, I think my job is to make sure that these days before the tournaments are done right and the players are comfortable, they're having a good time, then they're relaxed. So all I can do is do my very best to put them in the best position to play well. And when you come to a Ryder Cup or a team event, your sort of regular schedule is off. So it's my job to return them as close as they can to what they would normally do. And then also making sure that they have a fun time, making sure that they enjoy the experience, and making sure that they cherish this week forever. Bryson's, this is a tough thing for him to come into guys that he doesn't see every day, into guys full of PGA Tour players. But he's done an exceptional job of making the extra effort, flying to Napa, flying to Atlanta, doing things that are really difficult with the schedule that he has. And he's made every effort possible and been incredible in the team room. I think Bryson, just his ability, his golfing ability alone is a X factor for our team, but also he's a really fiery player. And, when you come to a Ryder Cup, you don't want guys to try to be something they're not. We have a lot of calm, mellow guys. So, we need the energy from Bryson. And he brings that every day in practice rounds, in the team room, and hopefully in the tournament competition too. I'm deeply honored that the President of the United States is going to come support our team at the Ryder Cup. I think anytime you can be around a current president is a pretty phenomenal thing. But when you're representing your country at a place like Bethpage Black in New York, having the president there to support you is, something that is just absolutely incredible. And I'm really grateful for him for doing that for us. Yeah, I think, anytime you lose, you want to come back and win. And but when you're home you're at a home Ryder Cup, there's not much more motivation that you need. The fans are going to give us all that. The players in that room are going to give us that. The vice captains, the caddies, the wives, we all want to win. And this is a totally different team than was in Rome. This team is 0-0, and we want to go out this week and represent the country in Bethpage and the fans here the best we can.
When you think of great Ryder Cup players of all time, who comes to mind?
Paul Azinger, Phil Mickelson, Payne Stewart, Justin Leonard. That Justin Leonard's putt on 17 at Brookline, I was there, it changed my course of my life. So, I think of players like that. I think of Jordan Spieth, I think of Justin Thomas. And I think these guys, a lot of the guys on our team now are trying to carve their legacy in this event.
Yeah, I think my job as captain is to prepare the guys, for every scenario. Obviously, there's a bunch of us in our team that have experienced away crowds. Maybe not New York, but we have experienced away crowds before, and we've certainly talked about it as a group. What you've learned, what you think you might have done well, what you think you might have changed. The crowd, the crowd factor is certainly one aspect that I've been looking at. But I've been trying to look at this from a very different angle, and that's just one element of the preparation that's going into kind of making sure that these guys are ready for, and to be prepared to be at their best, because that's what they're going to need this week. Yeah, I think, Rory's talked about this many times. He loves what the Ryder Cup represents. You could see the emotion both ways. When he lost in Wisconsin, the tears that were flowing, how he felt like, as the player he is, he's a leader for the team, that, he needed to play better. And he, felt like he let himself down in the team. And, that's kind of the brotherhood we have in our team, and, he sees himself as a leader, but also just one of 12. We try and talk about that a lot. We all have an opportunity to contribute to the team. To have someone of his caliber, though, and to what he's achieved in the game is tremendous. But for him, Ryder Cups are very, very important. He talked about how difficult it is to win an away Ryder Cup, and that, I think if he was able to be on this team, on a winning team, that would make this year even better than what he's already done. Yeah, I was a vice captain in Wisconsin and at Whistling Straits, so I was part of a losing one there. And yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why you want to win, is because losing feels so much worse. It really hurts. You prepare and you practice hard and you try and put together a plan, and it's disappointing when it doesn't work out. But golf is a little bit like that. It's hard to control the result. You can only control your preparation. So for me, on a personal standpoint, I'm very focused of what I've done the last 21 months. I feel like we're a team that's in a good spot, and hopefully things will work out. But if not, we'll take it with grace, and we'll try and learn from it, and we'll try and move on.
That's why we do these shows. think about all of this after the Ryder Cup when we look back and we reflect on the building blocks that was the fortification that each of these teams built around their hopeful performance, all said and done. I know your hopeful performance surrounds playing your very, very best golf. You can do it with Newton golf shafts, and you can push boundaries of performance with their new fast motion shaft, which uses a revolutionary lightweight design without sacrificing power. In fact, it's 10 grams lighter than the motion shafts. It's built to help you get more distance, control, and confidence on every shot. You might not need a new club. The problem might be that you need a world-class, proven golf shaft. Log on to newtongolfco.com for more. When we come back, let's hear from some players what's on their minds.
This is golf.
A shot, honey.
And this is Golf's Superstore.
Oh, yeah, we'll take it.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
We know there's more in you. More distance, more accuracy, more consistency. That's why we created the PXG Black Ops driver to unleash your potential. Packed with innovative technology and unmatched adjustability, PXG Black Ops drivers are custom fitted for your swing and engineered to maximize your performance. To play your best, play the best. PXG Black Ops drivers. Book your fitting at pxg.com or a PXG location near you. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
4! This is golf, and this is Golf Superstore, the only place you can walk in for a free driver fitting, have it built, and tee it up the same day. Try Fit and Go today.
Welcome to our team facility. This has been custom made just for us. Come with me and I'll show you around. It starts here with our 4 away wins. This is our inspiration this week. 87, 95, 04, 2012. This is our gym recovery area. Never had one as big as this. This is a really, really important room. All the workouts they want to do, all the recovery, ice baths. We even have a sauna down there. Some guys might be playing 5 times this week in 3 days. That's a lot. So they need to be rested, recovered, and ready to go. Our locker room. Everything here is laid out. Little inspirations. Excelsior. It means ever upward. It's the New York State motto. Every locker is player, caddy, player, caddy. We are one unit. We are together. And while they're getting their stuff ready, getting ready to go on the golf course, they can look at their wall of history. This is, again, an ode to all those times that we have won away. Down here, we have some quiet rooms, a couple of them. Again, this is a busy week. There's a lot going on. This is our team dining area and our lounge area. It's family orientated. We thought about all the little details to make these guys be able to perform at their highest. But now let's go to my very favorite room, the dressing room. This is our inspiration again. Our 4 shirts from our 4 away wins. This is a really important room for us. We will gather here, swap ideas, and be very focused about what we want to achieve this week. And each player above their locker says, our time, our place. That is our motivation. That is our theme. And the last inspiration that they'll see before they head out to the range, out to the golf course, is this. This is your time. This is your place. It's their time to make history in New York, and we'll be ready.
Pretty cool, right? That was courtesy of the European Ryder Cup side, giving us a glimpse behind the curtain. I think they've tried really hard this week to give people access to them. You know, it will be what it will be. I mean, the question of engagement with the crowd, the galleries, New York crowds, so much talk about that coming into this week. And, I mean, you guys can see the way it plays out. Early in the week, the banter has been that, you know, there wasn't as much of it as they thought, because so much of this Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black is defined by, you know, these huge marquees, you know, these huge tents, hospitality areas, etc., as a vehicle to go back to what we were talking about in the last segment, the generation of massive amounts of money. But it also provides for very unique viewing experiences as well. But what about the players themselves? 2 Ryder Cups, a record of 2, 2, and 3 is that of Scotty Scheffler. In fact, here you can see for Team USA the respective records. Xander Schauffele is looked upon as a killer in the Ryder Cup. He's also at 500, 4-4-0. Harris English has played in 1, 1 and 2. Bryson DeChambeau's played in 2. He's 2, 3 and 1. There was talk earlier in the week criticizing Bryson DeChambeau, which I think was grossly unfair, because in Bryson's first Ryder Cup at 25 years old, La Golf Nationale, I was working on the grounds, so I'm right next to players because it's so crowded you really have no place to go. And Bryson was paired up with Phil Mickelson, and that was in afternoon foursomes on Friday. Phil, they lost, obviously, because I mentioned Bryson went 0-3-0. Phil Mickelson went 0-2 overall that week. So it wasn't like Bryson didn't make Phil lose all of his matches. The second time that Bryson teed it up, that was Saturday afternoon foursomes, he was paired with Tiger Woods. And if you remember at that event, Tiger was not Tiger. He had just won the Tour Championship, and he was coming in kind of whatever state he was in. Tiger that week went 0-4. 0-4. And again, I'm telling you, I was right there with them. Tiger seems really good when he's in like a a vice captain or captain role with putting his arm around a player's shoulder and saying, you can do this, we got this. But when he's your partner, from what I've seen, if it's going sideways, he doesn't have any problem hanging out there to dry, even though he also participated in whatever the fate was of that particular match. So he lost with Tiger Woods. That was 0-2. And then in singles, he lost to Alex Noren, but it was a great fought match. Noren only won, one up. So I thought it was unfair where there was this, how is Bryson, go back to that graphic, if you would, of the team roster, Andrew. I thought it was unfair to look at Bryson DeChambeau go, he's 2-3-1. Gosh, what a terrible Ryder Cup record. His last Ryder Cup was in 2021 at Whistling Straits. He went undefeated. That was his very last one. The first one, he was 25 years old, still trying to figure out who he was. The second one at 28, he comes in as a major champion and goes undefeated. And other than his singles match, when he beat Sergio Garcia, the two matches that he had otherwise were both with Scottie Scheffler. Justin Thomas, 7-4-2 overall. Colin Morikawa, 4-3-1. Patrick Cantlay, 5-2-1. And Sam Burns, 1-2-0. So for Patrick Cantlay, another player that's faced a lot of barbs coming into the week of the Ryder Cup. Coming in, he had the best record overall on Team USA. So let's hear from Scottie Scheffler, and let's start with past performance. How much was it a motivation, what happened in Rome, for this week?
I don't think it can be understated how difficult of a week Rome was for us. You know, I think we could have done better for sure. That wasn't how I expected the week to go, and I think we learned from it, and we're as prepared as ever this time. Yeah, I mean, I think Bryson, he's a tremendous competitor. He's a great partner as well. I partnered with him in 2021 at Whistling Straits, and he was a tremendous guy to be out there on the golf course with. He's a great guy. He's a good friend, and he's been great in our team room. Like you said, he brings a lot of energy. The people love him, and I think he loves the opportunity to be able to represent his country. He's a multiple-time U.S. Open winner, and that means a lot to him. And being an American, I think, means a lot to him as well. And I'm excited to kind of unleash him this week. Should the expectations of me be different than any other player? I mean, I don't really think about that kind of stuff. I mean, if that's something that you want to write about, then more power to you. I don't think I have any. I don't think about expectations. I don't bother with that kind of stuff because it's unimportant to me. What I focus on when I show up to tournaments is my preparation, and I have prepared for this tournament. I'm ready to go out and compete. When I step up there on Friday, I can tell myself on the first tee that I did every last little thing that I could in order to play well, and it's time to go do what I love to do, and that's compete and have fun. And I'm excited to be able to play in front of a home crowd, but I truly don't think about expectations or anything like that. That's wasted space in my brain. I never even really liked the saying, it's just a game, because for the amount of work it takes for me to come out here and play golf, this is a lot more than just a game to me. This is something that's very important to me. This is essentially my life's work right now. This is what I spend. If I'm not with my family, I'm thinking about golf. I'm thinking about how to get better. I wish that I could turn my brain off to something else, and sometimes when you get home, I have to find new hobbies or new things to become obsessed with, because if not, I'm just going to be thinking about golf literally all the time. And so when it comes to playing for team and playing for country, I don't really have to change much, because I think my passion for the game of golf runs so deep. My passion for my country runs so deep that when it comes to these team events, it's just another way to continue to be motivated to work hard, to want to get the most out of myself, and to be a good friend and be a good teammate to the guys on this team, because the Ryder Cup it's a really special event, and it's something that we're very excited for. And like I said, we take a lot of pride in being Americans, and we're excited to play for our country this week and play in front of a home crowd.
Who would you hate to go up against in the Ryder Cup? Would it be this guy? I'd take my hat off to him. Ben Hogan Golf is back. Log on to benhogangolf.com, and you can see how and why this man's namesake and vision continues to impact the game in a major way. The product is nothing short of gorgeous, and man, does it perform, because it is packed with technology as well. Check it out on your own, benhogangolf.com. Stay with us. When we come back, we're going to take a little bit of a tour through the Black Course.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What does it take to be an original?
Cam knows something about that. So does Chi-Chi, Charlie, and you get it. In 1955, we stepped onto the scene. Now a new generation of pros are wearing the most iconic styles in the game. The fit, the feel, the look. It's all an expression of you. Original Penguin. Here for the good times.
Golfers today are a different breed.
Who? Me? We see the game in a different way.
We all have our own styles.
We swing our own swing.
We have one thing in common.
We are all about the details.
Introducing the Revel line of grips from Superstroke. With 3 distinct offerings to choose from, the Revel is in the details.
Want more distance, accuracy, and forgiveness with your irons? Yeah, you do. PXG's exceptional Gen 7 irons are custom fitted for your swing and feature unmatched precision adjustability to maximize your performance. To play your best, play the best. PXG Gen 7 irons. Book your fitting at pxg.com or a PXG location near you.
Nice, straight, and far.
Funnest experience I've ever had.
Would recommend it to anyone.
PXG, you've never played like this before.
FlightScope Mevo Plus is the ultimate indoor and outdoor golf launch monitor and simulator. It gives you the club and ball data you need with the accuracy you demand. Mevo Plus comes with ownership of simulated golf courses for you to play and practice at home. Mevo Plus is an essential golf partner to help you improve and understand your game better. Put more purpose in your practice. To learn more and get your Mevo Plus, shop now at flightscope.com.
When you choose Newton shafts, you're choosing more than a product. You're choosing innovation, pride, and excellence right here in America. We pay attention to the minutest of details, and you can feel that in the performance of our shafts.
Absolute national treasure, Bethpage Black, out in Long Island, hosts this week the canvas upon which all the drama is playing itself out, designed by A.W. Tillinghast in 1936. Tillinghast died in 42. So this was his last great, and it is great indeed. You can see some big events that have been held there. What about, I'll just pick a couple of holes. The first hole, can you imagine this 430-yard par 4? Now, this is a hole that has great percentages of players. I'm not just talking about the Ryder Cup, just in general about players hitting this fairway, but you've got all the pressure that goes with teeing off at the first tee, with the chants coming down, whether they're ole, 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 or USA, USA, USA. It makes a difference. But here's the thing that's so incredible. The teams that win this first hole has a reverberation. You can see it right there. All right, what about the 17th hole? This little innocuous par 3. It does demand accuracy because look around the 17th. It is very, very well guarded indeed by some very hungry bunkers, no doubt. And very high percentages of matches finish on the 17th. So this is a hole which you want to keep an eye on. And it leads to this. The 18th hole at Bethpage Black. Again, it's not a hole that's going to overpower the best players in the world, but think about the pressure that rides on this. Is this awesome? This is all courtesy of the PGA of America and RyderCup.com, sponsored by Aon. Scoring average, 3.98. Again, that's in any other circumstance. The key is, and you can watch this unfold, if you hit these different areas, like namely these bunkers or missing these little greens, that's when you're going to have your problems. You can actually see it building up. It is so, so special a place. There's no doubt about that. And so excited that we are in the hours that will define the 2025 Ryder Cup. What will be the results and what will be the larger reverberations and how it lends itself to the future with the results of what will take place in New York this week. So, so cool to be able to share this experience with all of you. The Ryder Cup is unlike anything else that exists in the game of golf. And that's the reason why it is so much fun to consume. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for your company on the Fairways of Life show. Everything breaking down the 45th Ryder Cup. Until we are together again, folks, be well. And we will see you next time when we look back on all that was the 45th Ryder Cup.